Good morning, dear students, and welcome back again to my channel. Today, we are going to revise the chapter Going Places. This is the last chapter of your book Flamingo for class 12th CBSE. So let's move on and see what we have today. First of all, the relevance of the title Going Places itself, it justifies how. The title of the lesson is justified as going places is an idiomatic expression meaning to be successful in one's career. And this chapter, it is Sophie who wanted to be successful in her career, but how? That's what is the question we are going to discover. The lesson is about Sophie's wish and fantasy to come out of the drudgery of belonging to the lower strata of society and to go to different places. She belonged to a poor family, but her wishes were to be successful, rich, powerful, and everything. But was she ready to do that? That is a question. Move on. Sophie also goes different places in her fantasies. That's why the chapter's name is Going Places. It is a good thing to dream. However, dreams should be realistic. That is what we are going to discuss in this chapter. Difference between a real dream and a daydreamer. Right? Last point. Merely fantasizing and daydreaming will cause disillusionment. You may never be able to reach to your goals in your life, and you will feel dejection and sadness in the end. Unless one is hardworking and persevering, just like if you remember the character of Mukesh, because it is going to be a 5-marker question, comparison of Mukesh and Sophie in CBSE, they will ask you about the difference between their dreams. Mukesh was a realistic dreamer, whereas Sophie is a daydreamer, right? So you will only get disappointment in your life. Then, this is a writer, A.R. Barton, if you can look. So first of all, let us understand about her a bit. An English writer and mainly focused on writing literary pieces which are laying focus on contemporary problems and daily issues, contemporary problems of the time, the problems of the time you are living in, and daily issues of everyday life. Then in this chapter itself, she told or expresses her feelings about what teenagers face during the stage and how they fantasize and indulge in unrealistic dreams. Very important chapters from the perspective of class 12 students also, because all of you are also going through the phase of teenage. And here comes the difference, real difference, because yes, we do dream a lot, but what does it cause? Are your dreams taking you somewhere, or are your dreams just putting you backside and not letting you do anything in reality? That's what this chapter is about, right? This is Mary Quant, a fashion designer, very popular one. The name of her reference has been taken by Sophie in the opening line of the story, where she is telling her friend Jansie, I will be Mary Quant, a very popular fashion designer. So born on this date, English fashion icon, Welsh fashion designer, was one of the designers who took credit for miniskirt and hot pants and all such things. Now, coming, Thomas Finney was a very famous English footballer whose reference has also been taken in the chapter. Then, coming to the characters, we have these main characters in the story. Sophie, the main character. Jansie, her friend. Jeff, her brother. Derek was a younger brother of Sophie. Denny Casey was an young Irish football player to whom Sophie said she has fallen in love with. Then, Tom Finney, a great football player, his name has been taken by the father in comparison to this particular character, Denny Casey. And finally, father and mother of Sophie, who are living in a poverty-driven society. So let's see how the story is. First of all, the story starts like this. Two teenage girls, Sophie and Jansie, coming back from school. They were about to clear their class 12th or their senior years in school. And now they are discussing about their dreams of doing something. Whereas Jansie was a realistic person, she knew that all the girls of this society are expected to work in a biscuit factory after their studies and education. On the other hand, Sophie was a daydreamer who said that I will not conform to such kind of lifestyle. So what she did, she said, I'll open a boutique after my school, or maybe I'll become a manager. When Jansie countered her and said that opening a boutique will require money, she said, maybe I'll work as a manager first, become an actress, otherwise a fashion designer. At least any one of these things I'll become. This showcases initially itself, Sophie was a big daydreamer. Jansie's advice. What did Jansie say to her? She asked her to be sensible, look at your family condition, look at your reality, and work according to that. Both were poor and have to work only in a biscuit factory. Sophie refuses to accept the reality and said, "You do your work, I do my work." Then Sophie's family and its status. Sophie's father was a manual laborer, so doesn't earn so much of money that she can go to a big college or had a better life altogether. Mother was Mother's back was crooked due to the household work. The mother was a housewife working endlessly in the house, in the kitchen, doing all the work, and that's what Sophie hated the most. She did not want to end up like her mother. That's why she always used to dream about doing something bigger. Sophie's father is a dominant character in the story. We can see when she enters the house, her father was sitting and scoping shepherd's pie and just shouting, and mother was doing all the work. He's strong and hardworking, loves to watch football matches. The entire family was a fan of football. Then does not believe in Sophie's imagery stories. Yes, he knew Sophie was a liar and a daydreamer, so he never used to believe in her stories. Finally, Sophie is scared of her father. Yes, Sophie's mother is quiet and submissive, this character. That's why Sophie hated the life of a housewife. Quiet and submissive, doesn't have any dialogues in the story, a very quiet character. She doesn't join her family for the weekend football matches because she was busy doing the household chores. Jeff, her brother, was an apprentice mechanic. You can see he's working as a motorbike mechanic. If you can remember, the reference goes to chapter number 2, Lost Spring, where Mukesh wanted to be a mechanic. Here, Sophie's elder brother is already a mechanic, right? Then he is quiet, man of few words. He never used to spoke much. Then he didn't make friends easily. He didn't like the company of many people. He liked the company of himself. He loved to drive bikes. And that's why Sophie also wanted to ride along with her brother and go to different places. She also wanted to live a life of freedom. Then he was more patient with his sister, used to listen to her, although he did not believe in everything she said, but yes, he used to give her some time to understand her. Then he's a fan of footballer Danny Casey along with his family. He watches United matches every weekend with the family. Sophie is fascinated by his life and want to be the part of her brother's life, going on bike rides with him and exploring different places of the world. Danny Casey now, next character about whom Sophie has weaved a story. She weaved this story that I have met Danny Casey in one of these places, marketplaces, and then he has asked me for a date. This entire story was a made-up story by Sophie. Most probably she might have met him accidentally, but whatever she has made it after that is completely a lie, just to show in front of her brother that yes, I had a good talk with this guy Danny Casey, whom all of you admire so much. Let's see. Sophie told Jeff that she had met Danny Casey, an Irish footballer. Danny came near her, stood beside her when she was looking at the clothes in Roy's store. She recognized him from his accent that she had heard on the television. He was not tall as she had expected him to be. He had green eyes. So this is the answer of a 2-marker question. When Jeff asked her, can you describe how this guy Danny Casey looked like? Then she told about his eyes and his how long he is and everything, like clothes and everything. Then Sophie's father, Jeff, informed Sophie about the meeting of Sophie with Danny Casey to the father. Father on the spot disapproved it and said it is nothing. He said he looked in disdain. Disdain is sad anger. He ignored the news. He did not even pay heed to it while having the dinner. Then he discussed Tom Finney and Danny Casey as players, comparing them and all that thing up, but also warned his daughter, you may one day end up into a lot of pain because of your all these lies and daydreaming. Danny Casey was a favorite of everyone. So what it is? Sophie's father wishes Danny Casey to be a great player. He wished he remained away from all the temptations for now, and he wanted him to be a bit successful. Right now, Danny Casey was quite young to have any kind of distraction. Jeff cautioned Sophie that Casey was a celebrity and must have a string of girls with him. Sophie said no, he does not have any girlfriends. He told me this thing up. Now you can understand, she is now lying more to hide the previous lies. Sophie tried to defend Casey. She couldn't take an autograph because both had no pen and no paper. That's why they have agreed to meet once again on a date. Sophie's family, her entire family is fan of Danny Casey. We have already discussed. Saturday they used to go for the pilgrimage to the stadium where they used to watch the matches. Now, next day, when Sophie told all these things to Jeff and her family members, Jansie met Sophie and she encountered her by saying, "How dare you not told me about your meeting with Danny Casey?" Sophie was quite exhausted. She was surprised how come her brother has told this thing to Jansie's brother. She wanted Jeff to keep this as a secret because she knew Jansie will tell this to everyone in the school and she will be made fun of. So what happened? She went near the canal. She inquired about this thing. Sophie said it was just a one-time meeting, nothing else happened. So with that, she just simply, for that time being, get away from that lie. Finally, coming to the end of the chapter, she went near the canal, near the tree, sat on the wooden bench over there, waiting for Danny Casey to arrive. In reality, Danny Casey never promised her. He never said, "I'll come on a date." And she waited for hours. Finally, to her disappointment, her disillusionment was broken because she now realized it was all an illusion. Danny Casey was never supposed to come here. Then, obsessed with the meeting, she realized that he would never come. Her dreams and disappointment were the products of her own fertile mind. That's what her father or her brother, all of us always tell, that never ever daydream too much, that it will in the end hurt you only, right? She couldn't help being a dreamer and escapist. In the end also she decided to be a dreamer only. She never decided to come out of this kind of daydreaming, and she said, "I'll be like this only. Nobody will believe me, but I know I met him." Then, now the analysis part. This was a story. Analysis is, it explores the different realities of expectation, fantasy, desire, perception of an adolescent, of a teenager. You have different mindsets, different understanding levels, and you create realities by your own mind, right? In all probabilities, Sophie never met Casey as per the story. Her temptation, as seen in her interaction with Jansie, her visit to the park, Danny's absence, all point towards one thing. It all happened in her head. In reality, nothing happened. Danny Casey never met her. It was a made up story so that she can at least feel proud in front of her brother and her friends to show off that I have met a very famous person. That's it. Gist of the chapter is given over there on the last page. You guys can stop the video and can just look at it. This will explain the entire thing, the questions which will be asked about the chapter. The lesson explores the theme of adolescent fantasies and hero worship. Sophie and Jansie are both last year high school students, but Sophie was a daydreamer, whereas Jansie was a realistic person. Sophie always dreamed of big and beautiful things, glamour and glory in her life. Her ambitions are not rooted in reality. She have no relation with harsh realities of life. She never thought about what she has to do in reality as per her family conditions. In contrast to Jansie, Sophie's friend, a realistic and practical girl. Jansie was a practical girl. 2-marker question. Differentiate between the characters of Sophie and Jansie. Another 2-marker question will come. How did her family react when she told about her meeting with Danny Casey? So her father did not approve of it, did not say anything. He did not like it. On the other hand, her brother believed in her and cautioned her to be wary of not telling a lie, because that will hurt her too. Then Sophie lives in a male-dominated family where her mother was only a shadow. That's why she wanted to showcase herself. She wanted to give some view to her brother or her father to make them feel that she is also important. That's why she made up a story of Danny Casey, the famous footballer, which they loved. Sophie wants some attention from her father and brother, and telling them that she met Danny Casey was her way of drawing their attention. Every teenager does that, right? So that's exactly what Sophie has done. Her only mistake was trying to get attention by telling a lie and hurting herself. So with that, we have come to the end of this chapter. The question 5-marker I've told you. The difference between daydreaming and realistic dreaming will come. They may ask you about Mukesh's character in comparison to Sophie's character. They may ask you a 5-marker question about the entire journey of going places, whether the teenagers should live in daydreaming or they should work on the realistic expectations. So with that, we have come to the end of this chapter, Going Places, and we are done with the revision of the book Flamingo. Thank you so much. You may watch my other videos to go through the earlier chapters we have covered for Flamingo. Thank you.